Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be doing part 2 of the mlbb guide for noobs. If you haven't seen part 1, I'll put a link at the top right hand corner of this video, so please check that out. This second part of the video will actually talk about the different roles within a team, and hopefully this will help all you beginners out there have a better idea of what you should be doing in your different roles. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. So in every single mlbb game, there are 5 players on each team and each player plays a different role. So firstly, we'll be talking about the side lanes, the first role being the EXP lane. The EXP lane is named as such because of the fact that it provides the most EXP in the early game. So the EXP lane is very good for heroes who are very skill reliant, because the faster that they level up, the faster they gain their skills and they're able to contribute to the team faster. As long as you are playing the roles that are within the lanes, always try to clear your minions, clear your waves as fast as possible. Last hitting the minions will actually give you extra gold or extra experience depending on the lane that you are in, so try to do that as much as you can. For the EXP lane, the special thing is that your final creep, that little cannon guy, actually carries extra EXP. So you can differentiate him from the other side's lane is that the fact that he's carrying scrolls. If you clear this minion, you'll actually get more EXP than you would in any other lane. So you can see that you get more EXP from the animation. There's actually an EXP up when you clear the minion. So like every good side laner, you only have one job in the early game, and basically that is to push your lane and try to get your first tower as fast as you can. As I've mentioned in the previous beginner video, if you actually attack your tower in the early game in the first 5 minutes, you get bonus gold from it. So as a side laner, you should always try to do that, unless the enemy is zoning you out from this tower or the enemy can actually kill you once you are inside this tower. Remember that if you fight an enemy when you're under his tower, you will get attacked by the tower. Once again, I'm going to repeat that the key objective for a side laner, whether or not you're an EXP laner or a gold laner, is basically to take down the first tower as fast as you can. The reason is so that you can try to leave your lane after that, so you can gank other lanes or help push other lanes and engage in team fights more frequently because of the fact that you've already taken down one tower. So by usual estimates, the time that you get your level 4 in the EXP lane is actually when you are clearing your third minion wave, assuming that you gained the maximum amount of experience and gold from the different minion waves. This is estimated to be about 1 minute and 40 seconds into the game. Side laners are very busy people. They not only have to clear their lane and to take the tower, they also have to help the hyper focus on objectives and also have to help the hyper gank when it's the right time to do so. Sometimes you can start the objective so that your hyper can just come over and secure the objective once he is done with whatever task he is doing, so they can reduce the amount of time that people know that you are taking the objective. Once he is here to take the objective, you can try to secure the perimeter. So for beginners, there are various heroes that I would recommend for the EXP lane. My considerations are the ease to use these heroes as well as their current position in the meta. Balmond is one of the first heroes that I would recommend because he's very easy and he's one of the first heroes that all beginners will actually get. He's tanky and he's able to sustain himself and prove himself in a team fight, so he's definitely good for the current meta. Esmeralda is the next hero because she has very simple mechanics and she's very tanky, so she's able to go into team fights and definitely sustain herself at late game, so beginners will use her very well. Xbox is the last hero that I would recommend for the EXP lane for beginners. His skills are very easy to use and he's very tanky if you build him with the right items. In Epic and above, he's probably banned quite often because he's difficult to deal with, but if you're playing in the lower ranks, you should have no problem choosing him and using him. Next up in the roles, we have the gold laner. Basically in the gold lane, heroes are able to gain more gold so that they can get their items earlier. So this is very useful for heroes that actually rely on items in order to deal more damage. Generally, this refers to the marksmen who are the core damage dealers in the late game, so it allows them to actually get their equipment earlier and be a bit more menacing in the early game. Although in the current meta, sometimes people pick tanky fighters because they don't want the game to drag until a point where a marksman gets solidly fed and can actually destroy the entire enemy team. And a tanky fighter in the gold lane will actually prevent that because it can stop the marksman from farming properly. So once again, as a gold laner, you will want to actually clear the wave as fast as possible and try to maximize the last hits on all the minions. The last minion in the wave, the cannon guy, will actually have gold inside his little pouch to show you that this is the gold lane and you are farming as much gold as you can. Whether or not you're in the EXP lane or the gold lane, remember that you're still a side laner and your job is to basically clear the minion wave and take down the first tower as quickly as you can. Like I said in the previous video, one issue that I see with many beginners is that they try to take the jungle or they try to take the crab because they think that is the most efficient way for them to farm gold, and that is not the case. Especially if you're a marksman, your early game damage is not very good and taking jungle is not very smart for you because you'll take a very long time to clear them when you don't have retribution on you. So always try to stay at a tower and take the bonus gold that you can from the enemy tower. Remember, that's why they designed the mechanics so that you will stay in your lane and take the bonus gold. As always, as the side laner, you should always try to help gank and you should always try to help to take objectives such as the turtle and the lord. The choice of gold laner will actually affect a team if the game goes into the late game phase. Basically, if you drag it maybe more than 12 to 13 minutes, even close to 15 minutes, anything longer than that, your gold lane choice will have made all the difference in the late game. So here I'll recommend some gold laners that will make a difference. Either you have early game dominance or late game dominance. So first up, for the early game heroes, Clint is actually a very good choice because his early game damage with his first skill as well as his passive actually is quite deadly. His mechanics are also quite simple and I think beginners will actually find him very easy to pick up. And Clint can actually scale very well into the late game, so I will also definitely recommend him if you want to make sure that you are able to impact the game from early to late game. Next up on the list is Brody. Brody is also a very simple hero to use. His skills, basically you just need to make sure that you hit them, ensure that your marks hit, and then you use your ulti so they can kill everybody in vicinity. He is a very powerful early game hero, although his damage might die out a little bit later into the game if you try to build him defensively, so do take note of that. Lastly, for the early game dominance, Saber is a very good choice because he's easy to use and he's also a hero that many of the beginners will actually get. Once Saber hits his level 4, he is generally able to burst down any gold lane marksman or assassin that is camping there. But once again, his damage dies off a little bit into the late game, especially after enemies build defense items to counter him, so do take note if that is one hero that you want to try. For the late game dominance, I would recommend Nathan as a hero to use. With Nathan, actually mid-game you already start to hurt a lot. In the late game, he is just pure damage and it's very difficult to avoid him because his attacks are so fast. And since he's very reliant on his basic attacks, you can actually just spam your basic attack, which makes his mechanics very easy to understand. If you're playing against a Nathan in the late game, you definitely have to focus on him because he will be the one that can actually deal the savage to your entire team. The next hero that I would recommend for the late game in the gold lane is actually Alice. Some beginners might not know this, but Alice is a very potent hero in the meta right now. Once she gets her items, she is very difficult to kill and very difficult to deal with. Her mechanics are also quite simple to understand and you just need to know that her power spike is the 50 stacks that she needs to get from collecting all the blood orbs. Once you do that, you're able to dominate with Alice no matter against what hero.